So we have other iPilots, and basically it's draining the battery, and every time the battery's replaced, the guy said that it would drain, and so we'll open it up, see what's going on. Maybe it's a shorted component or something. I don't know. So it has these outside screws, and I'm able to take all those out. It uses 3 AAA batteries, so that's like 4.5 volts. Oh, right. Yeah. And we can see lots of corrosion in here, because this is like on a boat, right? So there's lots of water there, and you can see all the corrosion. I'll zoom at the scope and we'll clean this up and we'll see if we can get it going. You never know about these things, but maybe. There's corrosion on the main processor here, on these legs here, anything kind of like blue, and this right here. So this is why it's not turning on. Has all this corrosion stuff here. This component looks like it's like broken. I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna use some isopropyl alcohol here, and will this clean up? You want to use alcohol because it evaporates when you use it, right? You don't want to use water because that will corrode. So this little kind of circle thing is, the square thing there is it's an oscillator, and that will give the frequency to the main CPU. So it's using an external oscillator, and if that's not working, like, the thing won't work, it won't turn on. Looks like we have another oscillator over here as well. So it's this corrosion right here. And I'm just using a brush that is for your teeth. And you can just pick that up at Walmart or whatever. Also, the isopropyl alcohol, you want it like the 95% there too. Alright. I don't know. I think I'm going to reflow that. I'll put some solder on some of those pins because they look kind of black. Okay. So let me then. Gonna add some flux here, and this gonna reflow these pins. Just let my soldering iron heat up. So we'll just reflow the main CPU. I'm using lots of flux, and you just go on all those pins because we have some corrosion happening there. So I'm just gonna use my soldering iron just to flow over all those pins because maybe there's a bad contact. And it just gets rid of all the rust because water and electronics don't really mix very well. Now, if you do get blobs, which often happens, you can increase the temperature to your soldering iron to like 400 degrees and add more flux, and it just wicks right off. And you can see it's flowing, so you just kind of go and get it all to one side, and then you can even tilt the board down, and that kind of helps to wick up that stuff. But yeah, flux is your friend, and I'll be doing all four corners of the CPU, and you can actually see it. This looks gold and silver after you resolder it. Before they were looking kind of blackish, so that's gonna give us issues, right? So I reflowed that, and then I'll also reflow the anywhere else that was corroded, and then I'll just clean it up with isopropyl alcohol and stuff like that, and then it should be good to go. And then you can see these are the where there was some corrosion before. We did use isopropyl alcohol, but I'm just going to reflow the joints of these components, these capacitors here. The capacitors are the kind of orangey color ones, and the dark ones you can actually see on the board. Either it'll show a L. L means it's an inductor. So if you measure short on those, that's normal. And then the resistors are like 60 ohms, so they're pretty low ohmage there. But yeah, just reflow all the joints there. And after I did that, I also just heated up the board, put lots of isopropyl alcohol in there just to make it all nice and clean. And that helps out a lot just to get everything cleaned up. I know when you're on the boat, it's really easy to get moisture. So I don't know what's the best way to protect the remote. Maybe you could put it in a sealed plastic bag after the settings are done or something. If you have a Ziploc bag, it may help, I'm thinking, because this is actually the second remote that I had the exact same issue. It's basically internal corrosion there, and it's understandable because it's actually not real waterproof, this remote controller. So So it turns on right now, and the screen does have, I think it's because maybe a little bit of water got in there, but it's okay. But it's working now, like it's turning on and all that stuff. And it's only taking 4 milliamps with the light on, and when the light goes off, it's basically not even taking 1 milliamp. So it was probably draining because of that. And then on the power off, to turn it back on, you know, the dark screen, you just hold the plus button there and then it turns on. So I'm gonna put it back together. Looks like it's working good now. So we'll get the batteries back in. So if you're using the lab power supply, the positive is here and the negative is over here. Okay. So just hold down the plus button, and then it shows you also the battery indicator there. Wonderful. It's working. Thanks for watching this video. Hope it helped out. If you enjoy electronics or want to learn about how to fix electronics, consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video.